What do you think of incest, AnY? I'm just wondering. This question came up in regards to my video about why traditional marriage is outdated. I guess because at some point I talk about how in Middle-Age Europe all the nobles and the big houses of Europe have all been connected via marriage, and there has been a lot of inbreeding going on so that their blue bloodlines stay pure and stuff. And I have to say, for once I cannot simply answer a question with my standard line, as long as nobody gets hurt, everything is good. Because there are certain aspects that have to be considered in that regard. First of all, let us get straight what we do understand when we talk about incest. Depending on the definition of incest you are using, getting into a sexual relationship with milk siblings, step siblings, or simply members of the household you are not related to by blood at all, also count as incest. While I definitively admit that the thought of some guy getting things going with his stepsister he grew up with all the way is something that really weirds me out, because, dude, it's your sister you grew up with and stuff. I don't see anything wrong with it on a general level. It's just really like weird. But then there is the other kind of incest that is far more complicated. The incest of people who are actually related by blood. Because when you are related to somebody by blood and you share a certain level of genes and you have an offspring, depending on how high your coefficient of relationship with your partner is, there is a similarly higher risk of actually causing some negative genetic effects in your offspring. And therefore, I do count the risk for your offspring with your rather close relative partner a certain level of harm your offspring might suffer from. And therefore, in the end, my rule still counts, that everything is fine as long as nobody gets harmed. Then of course there is probably the argument of, hey, what if you simply love your, I don't know, cousin, sister, whatever, you really truly love them and you make completely sure that there is no offspring. Well, as long as you as a couple are not definitively infertile, I would still say no, because especially nowadays we have a frightening amount of people, especially younger ones, who are apparently not mentally capable of performing effective contraception. In the case that you as a couple are completely infertile, I would still consider it gross on the level of, it's your sister, dude, but I cannot see anything objectively wrong with it. So, yeah, I guess if the factor of inbreeding is definitively guaranteed not to happen, have fun, kids? I don't say do it, but if you really love each other and feel this kind of attraction, who am I or anybody else in society to deny it to you? Leaves only the question of how close is too close, considering your status of relationship. There actually resists the before mentioned coefficient of relationship, and there's this number of percentage which pretty much tells you how much of genes you share with this particular individual. And the line people agree on more or less that it is okay is a coefficient of 12.5. For some it is like it has to be lower, for some this is the first number that goes. Everything above, not so much. And since I am not a biologist, I pretty much roll with this. I say like, hey, if your coefficient is 12.5 or smaller, have fun, kids. If it is higher, I would say make absolutely 100% sure that no inbreeding can happen. And besides that, it's not my cup of tea, but hey, if you have a hot sibling you really fancy, I will not condemn you, but admittedly I will be weirded out quite a lot. This is AnY, opinion counts.